This episode of the Fujifilm X-T3 quick tip series is about lenses. Which Fujifilm lenses are good for video? Let's go. This is the 14mm 0.28. I used this on a gimbal at one point, and for narrow places it is really nice because it really straightens the lines, and because it's such a wide angle lens it focuses extremely fast. The throw is so short, so it's really is right on the money. It's a very good lens also for landscapes if you do still photography. Underappreciated in my mind. The 16mm. This has sort of a funny step motor engine focusing thing in it, and it's a bit tricky to use with autofocus. The image quality is insane. This is a fantastic lens, but I would only use it manually, and it's still a bit tricky because of the step motor. If you really want wide angle with great quality and you can go into insane 1.4 on your f-stop, narrow depth of field with a wide angle lens, that's pretty uncommon. I would definitely use it, but I would use it in manual mode. The 18mm Pancake lens, for me this one is a great lens. I really love it. I have a hard time with anything automatic because I can't have it that this tiny brain in a camera are going to make decisions for me. I don't want that. So when I do video, everything is manual. So any lens, I put my hand out there and do the focus manually. Fujifilm improved their algorithms for the by-wire focusing, and you can also set focusing to a linear mode, so you actually know the distance and the throw from one focus point to the next. My preferred focal length for anything video on a Super 35 is about 23 or 24. This is the 1.4 version that Fujifilm makes. It has the same exact step motor for focusing like the 16mm, but it's also a 1.4 lens. Fairly wide angle lens, you can get pretty narrow depth of field, which is really nice. But again, this one for me manually. But I'm a manual type. I use anything manually. So 23mm recommended for its image quality. If you want a more tight setup and still want the 23mm focal length, the small one at the f2 series is a good way to go, and this one actually works really well with the autofocus. I was surprised how good quality this is. I don't know what they're doing in Japan, but they must have some wizards there because this is a great lens, really sharp. This is the 50mm f2. Now we are beyond the focal range that I prefer, because now you're out there where you really need to have stable hands, especially if you're doing handheld. It's sometimes cool if you're on a distance, but for keeping it really stable, this is sort of my outer limit for what I think I can handle on a Super 35. We are beyond what I will prefer. There's also the famous 56 1.2. Humongous glass. This is my preferred portrait lens. When this is set to f2, it is just magic. I don't really use it for video. I am always putting on these 23mm lenses. Sometimes I put it on and film a bit with it, and I'm surprised by the quality. I think this is better suited for autofocus, but again, when you have this super narrow depth of field, I'd rather set it manually and just move myself. It just works better for me to do it that way. Right now we are filming this video with the 16 to 55mm lens. High-end quality video from edge to edge, where everything is just perfectly sharp. That's the lens I would go for. If you just started out and you bought yourself an X-T3 and this is your first Fujifilm camera, there's two lenses I'll recommend for anything. These two are for you. The 18 to 55 so-called kit lens, which is just a magnificent lens. Great image quality, stabilization built in, great for video, and you have the ability to zoom. Great little workhorse. And a 35mm 1.4. I think a lot of people agree with me that this lens has some sort of magic to it. Image quality from this just has this certain something. I don't know what it is. This is my all-time favorite lens for still photography on the Fujifilm camera. I don't think it comes any better. It's just amazing. I really love this lens. You can do anything with these two lenses. Awesome. Perfect. When you can't come in close and move about and have to stay at a distance, like at a soccer match or some sports event, this one. The Fujinon 50 to 140. which is a really high quality lens. It's the same sort of family as the 16-55. It actually works really well with the autofocus. Again, I'm mostly the manual type, so it's just a matter of preference, I guess. I hope this gave you a little bit of an insight. See you next time.